Good morning, Pioneers. Today is January 9th. I'm Alex Ramft.
And I'm Garrett Rainey. Welcome to the Grit.
Boys hockey began winter break playing in the Barlow Memorial Tournament. They tied against the Rocky River Pirates to start, ending with a score of 3-3. They then won against Thomas Worthington 5-1, and their last scheduled game was against Alter, where they finished with a huge 8-2 win. These games placed them in the championship, where they placed Rocky River again. The game went into double overtime, winning 3-2, with junior Roman Wagner scoring 2 goals and senior Nolan Perry scoring 1 to secure the win. On December 26th, the boys fought hard but ended up losing to St. Charles 1-2, with senior Ian Leskovich scoring the lone goal on the power play for the Nears. In a rematch against Thomas Worthington, Orange lost 4-6. Goals were scored by senior Josh Lambert and juniors Maverick Shulvin, Roman Wagner, and Jackson TG. To finish out 2025, the boys made a comeback, tying against Liberty 5-5 in regular time. They battled hard in overtime but lost 5-6, with a hat trick from Maverick Shulvin as well as goals from Graham Webb and Nolan Perry. The boys won a great game against New Albany to kick off 2026 with a score of 3-2. Juniors Jackson TG, Owen Grady, and Maverick Shulvin all scored for the Nears. Then they fell short to UA 3-7 and lost against Berlin in overtime 4-3 to end winter break.
Gymnastics won first place at Hilliard Invitational on December 20th with a score of 138.325. Lots of individuals placed as well.
Also on December 20th, Swim and Dive won first place in the 50 free at the All-Olentangy swim meet.
Over break, the girls wrestling team traveled to Findlay for the National Fight Invitational, winning the championship over 80 teams. Kenzie Carter won the 120-pound title, while Lacey Nick was second at 130. Delaney Tackett, Camille Ramy, Tara Davis, Elena Smith, Tamia Davis, Lexi Riley, Peyton Johnson, Lucy Hall, and Maid Ford all placed top 8 to pace the Nears.
On the other side, the boys wrestling team headed to the Medina Invitational on December 29th and 30th as senior Andy Val led Orange. On Saturday, the boys finished third in their home invitational as Colin Long, Tyler Della Rocco, and Peyton Ogles won individual title. Placing top 6 were Zeller Lyon, Lincoln Gaylor, Hudson Mong, Max Johnson, Josh Chung, Nick Graham, Grant Weidenheimer, Ryan Phillips, Aiden Chorn, Mason Hayes, and Lucas Tolbert.
Girls basketball had 2 hard-fought losses over break, losing to Lakewood 43-65 and falling to Berlin 46-58. They also fell to Bishop Hartley on Tuesday 41-69.
Boys basketball started the break with 2 losses to Upper Arlington 34-59 and St. Ignatius 51-67, but were able to bounce back against Cincinnati Aiken 67-51 on December 22nd. On New Year's Eve, the boys had a close loss to Marysville 50-52. Then on January 3rd, they had a strong 69-50 win over Hilliard Davidson. On Tuesday, the Nears played in a strong defensive game against Groveport Madison, pulling out the win 40-37. Senior Trayton Schrader made 3 free throws to ice the game. And now we'll get into the best part of our show, the Pick'ems. So we've got our first Pick'ems of 2026, starting with college football playoff semifinals in the Peach Bowl, Oregon versus Indiana. This is going to be a phenomenal game, Big Ten matchup, a third guaranteed year in a row that a Big Ten team will be playing for the national championship. Both these teams have looked phenomenal. Fernando Mendoza, obviously winning the Heisman, has played amazing all season, and their defense really stood up against Alabama in that quarterfinal game, and they were the first team to be able to break the first-round bye curse that we've seen in the new playoff format. And I think Kirk Cignetti keeps them rolling. I think they have a good defensive game, shutting down Dante Moore, and I think Indiana takes it easily.
I'm going to have to agree with you here. Indiana's just been unstoppable all season. They handled Ohio State, even though that missed field goal kind of hurt them. But Indiana's got all the momentum in the world. Oregon, it's going to be a close game, I feel like, with Oregon obviously looking to seek revenge, but I don't think they're going to be able to pull this one out.
And now moving over to the NFL playoffs, we will start in the AFC with the Patriots versus the Chargers. This, I feel like this was such a surprising season for the Patriots. Obviously, Drake May coming out, an MVP candidate. It's either going to be him or Matt Stafford. There's really not another option right now, leading them to a 14-3 record. Their defense has also played phenomenal. And this Chargers team has looked pretty shaky this year. Obviously, we're able to manage to get to 11-6, but a lot of those wins were on some luck and some really tight games against teams they probably should have beat by a little more. I think the Patriots have been too dominant this year, and I don't see this one being close.
Yeah, I actually see this one being close, but I do think the Patriots are going to pull this off. Obviously, the Patriots have had a pretty easy strength of schedule, as we could see, but they've also came close to losing to some pretty bad teams like the Cincinnati Bengals. I mean, they blew a 21-point lead to Buffalo, so anything's possible in this game, but I think the Patriots will still win.
Yeah, and going down to Jacksonville versus the Bills. This game is going to be interesting. The Bills' defense has played really good all year, and obviously we know in the playoffs the Bills are almost always going to make it to the AFC Championship game. But and their kryptonite, the Kansas City Chiefs, are not in the playoffs this year, so we'll see who's able to eliminate them if they do get knocked out. This Jacksonville team has been odd this year. Everyone expected them to kind of be a bottom of the barrel team, ending up getting to 13-4, obviously off of a fairly easy schedule, still playing in the AFC South, which looked like a really solid division at the start of the year. Kind of fell off with the Colts starting to lose a bunch. But I think the Bills get this one here. I think their defense has looked too good, and they started rolling close to the end of the year. Obviously, beat my Bengals in a very disappointing loss with that defense, and I think Buffalo's just able to overpower Jacksonville.
Yeah, Buffalo here is probably going to overpower Jacksonville. But the one thing that concerns me for Buffalo is they are not good on the road in the playoffs. But I think what's going to come down is this Jacksonville team is not used to the playoffs, and that's what's really going to hurt them is when the stage lights are on the brightest.
Yeah, and going down to the Steelers versus the Texans, it's a really solid quarterback matchup, and obviously two of the best defenses in the NFL as well. The Texans have just been phenomenal all season, and their defense really has not given up anything. They don't really make a lot of mistakes. They play fast, they get to the ball quick, and they don't allow a lot of big plays. And the Steelers have obviously looked shaky getting out of a bad AFC North division this year. A good win against the Ravens to get into the playoffs, but I don't see them carrying that momentum. I think the Texans take it.
Yeah, this is going to be a close game, but I have a feeling the Steelers might be able to peel this one off. Always going losing 8 games this season, first-round playoff exit. But I think they're going to be able to break it this year.
Yeah, and moving over to the NFC, we got the number 2 seed Bears against the 7 seed Packers. The Packers have been a little shaky this year, obviously riddled with some injuries on both sides of the ball. And the Bears have just looked really solid. Caleb Williams playing phenomenal this whole year. And I don't see them losing this in Chicago in a great environment. And I just don't think the Packers are going to be ready to go and play.
Yeah, the Bears fans are going to be really loud, and I think it's going to cause some problems for Green Bay. It was a pretty close game last time they played. Bears needed some luck, so it might come down to like a touchdown or a field goal, but I think the Bears are going to win this one.
And now moving on to what I think is going to be the best game of the first round of the playoffs, the Eagles and the Niners. 2 phenomenal teams, 2 solid defenses, and 2 great rushing attacks as well. The 49ers, it seems like they've kind of slowed down at the end of the year, but both these teams have been really solid for the past 7 years. They're always in the playoffs. They're always competing for a Super Bowl. This year, obviously, both competing for a Super Bowl. And San Francisco able to still get 12-5 in what I think is the hardest division in the NFL this year, the NFC West. Obviously, 3 teams 12-5 or above is just phenomenal. And they were able to pull out some solid wins this year. And I actually think they upset the Eagles in Philadelphia.
Yeah, I just have a feeling the Eagles are going to be able to squeak this one out. San Francisco is probably the more dominant team. Philadelphia's looked really shaky. They obviously are in an easy division with the Cowboys and Commanders, but I think they're going to be able to squeak this one out. They have a lot of talent on that roster, probably the most talented team in the NFL.
And moving on to the exact opposite of what that game is going to be, what I think is going to be the worst game. This Panthers team is not good. We all know it. The NFC South is the worst division in the NFL right now. An 8-9 team getting into the playoffs is never good. Carolina's home atmosphere has not really been there this year. And the Rams have been one of the best teams in the league, obviously competing for the 1 seed in the NFC. Ended up losing to the Seahawks. And ended up 12-5, getting the 5 seed. Matt Stafford is going to pick apart this defense, and I don't think it's going to be close.
Yeah, it's probably going to be close until it isn't, and Puka Nacua is just going to be running all over the field, scoring touchdown after touchdown. Panthers don't really have much of a chance here, even though they beat them in the regular season. Give me the Rams. That's all for our show today, Pioneers. Thanks for tuning in to this week's edition of The Grit. I'm Garrett Rainey.
And I'm Alex Rampt. Make sure to support your Nears in Action this week, and we'll see you next Friday right here on The Grit.